You ain't never let him smell it. You ain't never kiss him or nothing like that.
I couldn't. You know why? It was a sense where, when you feel like somebody's not gonna be honest with you from day one. Why would I put myself
Mm-hmm.
in that predicament?
Today, Dr. Umar Johnson is on the clock, and it has nothing to do with the failure to produce his academy, the FDMG Academy, as you guys know. But of course, Dr. Umar Johnson is now being blamed for sexual misconduct, and this is nothing new. Remember in 2015, there were allegations coming from a lady by the name of the Conscious Stripper, who said that Umar Johnson was sleeping with her around the same time that Dr. Umar Johnson was claiming to be celibate.
I really have no feelings towards this person one way or another. I have no hatred, vindictiveness, it never even from the start. As I said before, and let me say this again, hopefully for the last time, okay? I decided to put this information out because it was very necessary. It needed to be done. People were being fooled and deceived, and I refused to sit back and allow that to happen. So that was my reason for bringing the information forward. Whether people don't believe it, don't agree with it, that's not my problem. That's their problem to deal with. I know why I put it out there, and I'm sticking to my decision because I believe that I put very careful thought into discerning what to do, and I feel very confident and comfortable in my decision to make everybody aware of the information that they were not aware of before. Now he may take it as he don't like me now because things got out that he didn't want to get out. I can't control that. He's an adult. Get over it. It's a part of life. Get over it.
With that being said, there's another young lady who is married who's put out some information about Dr. Umar Johnson on the Tasha K program. Now, to be fair, it seems that this was recorded last year and maybe coming out just now. I'm not sure of that, but the lady is called Anaya A on Instagram, the Anaya Show. Now, she's currently married to an African brother, but she's going to talk about how her and Dr. Umar met in this particular clip.
I had a friend, I'm not going to say her name, but I sent you her picture as well.
Yes.
We're all over Instagram together and things like that. And
Okay.
I had never heard of polygamy or like having multiple wives. I'm Haitian American. We don't
Okay.
believe in that. We're Caribbean women. We don't believe in
Okay.
like having multiple wives or what have you. And
Okay.
she kept wanting me to meet him. And the way she posed it was that he is like this powerhouse. He's amazing. He's intelligent. She knew my background in psychology and public relations. I had studied abroad in London, England. I had traveled, to many different countries by the time I was like 16, 17, because my parents were traveling all the time and they educated us that way. And then I was on the radio at the time in a small town, and that's where I met this young lady. And because I had just relocated from Atlanta, so I lived in Atlanta for years, Tasha, and that's where my activism started, where I became more like Black Power, like Dr. King, and she knew that about me. So she took the opportunity to tell me about Dr. Umar. And when she brought him up to me, it was more like education, empowerment, things like that. And she knew that's what I liked. Some people feed off of our weaknesses, right? Or what we're attracted to. And fast forward, when I met him, automatically he was trying to eye me down, trying to be very sexual or what have you, made a couple of sexual advances. I'm a, very nice young lady, but I was like, wait a minute, this is a powerful doctor, what's going on here? And then after we met, we had pictures that night. It was such a great vibe. And I'm not going to lie, he really impressed me with his knowledge, with his information, and especially talking about the young Black men and the boys and the ADHD and things like that. Because as a sister who cares, I was down with that. I already knew about that from Atlanta. I knew that more Black people needed to know about that in Florida because Florida is very racist and a lot of kids fall through the cracks. So that right there was everything for me. Fast forward, this man, our first conversation was basically like, I'm going to F you. I don't know what I could say on your show. And
yeah, you can
this
say
is
it.
on the I'm going to fuck you. And you're going to be my fuck person in your town because I travel a whole lot. And I was like, well, no, you're not, because I don't believe in that. I was like, you're good looking and everything. But I said, you had never met me before, and I will do the fucking around here. And on top of that, you're not going to just come around and do whatever you think you're going to do to me at all. Like, it doesn't go like that. And then he laughed and he was like, damn, like, you got a real one, you know? Because he didn't know I was from Brooklyn originally. So Brooklyn in the house. And so after that, we talked a few times, but it kind of dissolved because I wasn't going to give him any play. And then I found out that the sister that introduced me literally had slept with him and was trying to push me on him. And then she left the community we were in to join a polygamous community. And I think, because she never said his name at the time, she gave up her husband, she gave up her house, she gave up everything to move away to like the Philly area, if that says anything. And she gave up everything to be like a third, fourth, fifth wife or whatever it was. I was shook.
So you've heard that. She found out that the lady that introduced Dr. Umar to her allegedly left her own husband, sold everything, moved to Pennsylvania or Philly to be like one of his second wives. So she's saying that Dr. Umar is pretty much doing an R. Kelly kind of thing, which is recruiting women to come and be a part of his stable. So I'm trying to make sure if that makes sense, because if that's what Dr. Umar did and that was his approach towards you, then how do you and Dr. Umar still be cool? Because she even says after this that, you know, hey, they were cool, they were friendly. Umar would come out to her events and things like that, speak for her, promote her events, even after she got married. But then she even talks about that after that, she was even at Dr. Umar Johnson's school, helping clean up and things like that. Let me play that clip.
So how did I get in the mix of becoming the second wife, first wife, part of this polygamy thing? Was during that time I don't even remember the month. I sent you the video clip. That's when he was on the back, standing up on a backboard, and I was helping him clean up and stuff. We got on the topic of relationships because I knew he was never going to settle down. I knew of his past. I knew a lot of things. So I was
what
even
you know
trying
from
to
his
flex.
past? What was going on in his past, real quick?
Ooh, well, Umar had a plethora of women. Like I stated, I knew about that young sister who was older than me, actually. And then I knew about, remember back in the day, he had the video, Hoochie Mama, that he was sleeping with, and it came out all over the, I don't know if you remember that. In Atlanta, that's when I heard it off of Hot 106 or V106.
And he was sleeping with a Hoochie Mama?
She was on the videos and twerking and popping and all of that back in the day. She was called like the video vixen or something. Like, I don't even remember her name. I was so hurt by that because I was like, not because it affected me because I was sleeping with him, but it was like, how you a Pan-African is educator and you're doing all this for the quote unquote kids, but you're sleeping around with strippers. But she was a stripper. And she was like in all the videos before this whole like
not
lifestyle.
Not the black woman is God.
Or queen. That part, Tasha.
Go ahead, keep going. Let's go back to you being the wife. So he asking you to marry him and stuff. So
yeah. So we got into that relationship thing. We in that school, you know, in the gym part of the school. I'm helping clean up, but I was talking more or so to the women that he had me on live talking to, because I didn't know I was on live at first. And I'm just walking around with the Windex helping him clean up and stuff, because I'm like, women, you know, we should be there for our men and just be strong and dedicated and, you know, empowered, because I'm married to an African brother myself, and he has taught me a lot. I know you're married to an African brother, and it's all about being like a family unit. And I like that, actually, you know, being like kind of subservient, but not like submissive, but just doing the role of husband and wife thing. And so that's where I was coming from that angle. But he got serious and he kept talking more about relationships, and then about me being one of the two wives. And I'm like, are you bugging? Like, it was all on live and there were comments flooding. We got like almost 100,000 hits on that. And I'm like, oh my God, people started DMing me and everything.
So again, guys, that's a little odd, right? So you say the guy is a womanizer. He'll never settle. You're a married lady, but you're still in contact with the guy and you're still flirting with him. You're still engaging him, even though you know he's a bad person, or you feel like not he's a bad person, but you feel like he won't be faithful to you or any of those things. How do you still keep in contact with a person like that? And then Tasha K On the last, toward the end of the clip, ask her, look, well, did he get the box from you? And let's see what she says then.
So here's what I wanted to actually share. I'm glad I just remembered this part. We as women have to stop being so susceptible as well as naive when it comes to these high positioned men who are literally taking over our minds with their verbiage, with their, queen goddess talk and all this other stuff. They do that to get us in a particular position so that they can manipulate us. And I'm here to share that all of that. They manipulate, they have sex with a lot of these women. A lot of women do say certain things, but then they're muted. Right, Tasha? When women try to come out and say something, they make it seem like the women are crazy, and they make it seem like, there's no validity to their stories. But what's happening is because we have such a lack of good Black men that are roaming the earth right now, because a lot of them are locked up or in very, bad positions, etc. The ones that have a little education and power and, are able to control the masses, like the Umars of the world, they're using us and they're abusing us. Thankfully, I had enough power to walk away.
So again, he never, quote unquote, got the box. That's what she's saying. He never got the box. Okay, so if he never got the box, what are you trying to expose? If you felt like you knew that he was already like that, if you felt like he was a womanizer, if you felt like, he was not cool to be around, why did you spend so much time trying to be around him? And then you're saying like, okay, these Black men, because there's so many Black men who are not as talented, and there are so many Black men who don't have a lot. So when, you get one of these Black men that do have a lot, they abuse their privileges and they abuse these women. But it seems that you got a husband. It seems like you had a husband and still was entertaining Dr. Umar Johnson. Now, I'm not going to say that Dr. Umar is perfect. I am a big cultural critic of Dr. Umar Johnson. I really don't deal with his womanizing or anything like that from what I've heard. And I have talked to people in the Pan-African community that got like serious, what they would consider evidence against brother. I never deal with that. That's not my job. I only really deal with Dr. Umar Johnson based off what he talks about. I deal with Dr. Umar based on what he does. I actually like Dr. Umar Johnson. I'm a really big fan. In fact, I was over there on his Instagram live today. I actually bought a badge on IG. So I don't dislike our brother, but I do feel that Umar Johnson is one of those people who feels like he is above correction. He is above the law. He is above criticism. At the same time, he's going out here kind of sloppy, I feel, with how he's dealing with some of these ladies, things like that. So he's above reproach, in other words, and unsurpassable. So he has that mindset, and he doesn't understand that when you do that, and even if they're lying or not, he just puts himself out there in harm's way. He can't really manage the success, and he can't really manage the women that come along with success. I understand that Dr. Umar Johnson is a big man. He's like 6'4". He speaks very strongly. Women are attracted to that, but he seems like he just can't get out of his own way. And again, the brother is very talented, but I think that this is not the truth from what she's saying in this entire interview. I believe that Umar Johnson did some level of flirting and things like that. But at the same time, it's like, if you knew that he was like that, why did you keep engaging him? That doesn't make sense to me. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.